In this section, we will leave microservices behind us and take the monolithic project, containerize it, and deploy it to Azure. Let's begin by installing Docker to our local machine in this video. In order to install the Community Edition of Docker for Windows, we need to navigate to Docker Hub, and you can either follow this URL or search for Docker Desktop for Windows. You're gonna have to sign in. If you don't have an account with Docker Hub, feel free to create one. It's very useful, especially if you want to publish your own containers. I'm gonna click on Get Docker. It's gonna take some time. It's a rather large package. Once it's downloaded, we can run it. You can run it as an administrator, and the installer will begin any moment. Of course, I've already have Docker installed in my machine, so it will just probably ask me to update to a minor version. But if you don't have Docker running, you're probably going to see the full experience of Docker installing and asking you whether you want to use Windows or Linux containers. If this question pops up, make sure to pick Linux containers. So just like I predicted, Docker is updating for my machine. Perhaps it's installing on yours if you haven't used Docker in the past. Once the installation is over, we can go over to the taskbar and check to make sure that the versions of Docker are correct. I'm going to click on About Docker Desktop. You can see that Docker comes with several other packages. We have the core engine, we have Docker Compose, and Kubernetes. We are primarily interested in the engine and the Docker Compose. Those are the ones that we're going to use in this section. And if we go over to the settings, just follow these settings. Don't expose the daemon on that port. It's not really necessary to work with Visual Studio and the projects that we already have. But what you have to make sure that is checked are the shared drives. So I'm going to go to that second option. Make sure that you share any drives that you have in your computer. You share them with Docker so that Docker can have access to them. And make sure that Docker has sufficient cores and memory to run with. You may also want to limit the disk image max size so that Docker doesn't, fill your disk if you're running low on hard disk space.